Now an outspoken New York family court judge, Judy is the star of the show as she presides over real-life cases and delivers her judgment. Judge Judy.
I have. She's shit.
It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
I am Des Clark and this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. Joining me this week are columnist for The Courier, journalist Claire Johnston, and with her is comic actor and writer Raymond Mearns. And facing off against them is comedian Ria Lina, and joining her is stand-up Paul McDaniel. In the news this week, a retired postman has revived his career by delivering letters at his care home. The 98-year-old certainly hasn't lost his touch. He's already lost several pieces of mail and threatened strike action. Bosses at Menzies Aviation have accepted £571 million takeover bid by Kuwaiti firm National Aviation Services. The Scottish Air Services company thought they had reached the deal earlier, but then realised they still had to get on a wee bus and go the rest of the way. And the NHS is in danger of losing thousands of vital staff because of high street competition for workers, including from coffee shops. Now, if you ask for your coffee with 2 shots, not only do you get a cappuccino, but you're COVID-free for the next 6 months. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. And this is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess 2 major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So Claire and Raymond, can you tell me what the first story in our mashup is?
The First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has categorically denied claims that her government pushed through
fines to people who breached lockdown rules at gatherings and government buildings
in order to secure some political capital. She accepted there were lessons to be learned from the fiasco,
with more expected to follow.
I think that was the story about 2 CalMac ferries that could cost the taxpayer more than £250 million. So
yes, this is the continuing story about the delays and spiralling costs to build 2 CalMac ferries. The £97 million contract was approved in 2015 by ministers, despite concerns from their own ferries agency, CMAL, about the lack of normal financial safeguards. After a series of problems, the ferries will now be 5 years late and could cost the taxpayer more than £250 million. Businessman Jim McCall claimed that the SNP rushed through the deal because it wanted good publicity at its party conference that year. However, First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has insisted the procurement process for the ferries was all in order and the deal had nothing to do with political gain.
It was supposed to be 97 million for a design and build contract, and apparently what they did was, before they'd even designed it, they started building it. Now, I don't know about you, I've got Lego in the house. And I was good at techie drawing at school. But unless you plan this out, it's going to just be a pure mess. Any bother, I've got battered in it, a load of steel, see what we'll come up with. It's mental.
So there we go. Ria, what's your reading of it? What do you make of this mess?
It very much felt like the government was like a rich husband discussing a boob job for his wife with the plastic surgeon in front of his wife, who's like, I don't want new boobs. I've got boobs. And he's like, no, have the boobs, honey. We're going to that big party in October, and I want you to tell people that I bought you some boobs, right? And she's like, but what if I don't like the boobs? Do we get our money back? And the doctor's like, I'm going to design you some great boobs. You are not going to want your money back. And then cut to 5 years later, and the husband is like, so why are the boobs costing so much more than we agreed? My wife's going to divorce me. My kids are wondering where their trust fund is. Where are the boobs? And the doctor's like, that's not the point. Why didn't you tell me your wife didn't want the boobs? I would never have agreed to make the boobs if I knew that despite the fact that I needed the job or my whole practice was going to go under, you needed the boobs so you could impress your boss at that party. And the wife is there going, didn't you almost lose your practice once before, and haven't you lost it again since we initially agreed you'd build me unwanted boobs? And at this point, there's some other guy in the waiting room who suddenly recognizes the husband, the government, and goes, hey, I recognize you. Aren't you the guy that overpaid for that penis extension from the middle of Edinburgh all the way to the airport?
Paul, what about you? Have you any experience? Have you used the ferries in Scotland?
I've mainly used Northern Irish ferries, but I've used Scottish ferries as well, but I couldn't possibly be drawn on which I prefer because I don't want to get into a sort of a ferries culture war here or anything like that. Let's just say that both were good in their own way and all ferries matter is what I'm saying.
So obviously we're looking at the bigger picture here. This, to many, is maybe starting a job that you wish you'd never taken on, and they're right in the middle of it. So here's a nice question for our panel. Claire, tell us about a job that you wish that you'd never taken on.
I did work America when I was 20, so, 5 years ago. And I was a drinks waitress at an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord. And whenever I got up to the table, like 9 out of 10 of the customers, you'd start talking like, what can I get you? And they'd be like, hey, that's an accent. Where are you from? And I'd say, from Scotland. They'd go, Scottish? I'm a quarter Scotch, quarter Irish. And you'd be like, yeah, I can hear the Scotch talking then. And so I'd say, like, well, what part of Scotland are you from? And this was where the nonsense would come out. They would be like, one guy said to me, oh, I'm from a little town right on the border between Scotland and Ireland. So you're like, okay, so you're from a family of mermaids then.
Ria, what about you? Tell us about a job that you wish that you'd never taken on.
Okay. You know when you get married? Yeah.
Nicola Sturgeon disagreed with Jim McCall's version of events and implied he was crazy. As she would have said he was away with the ferries, but there was no ferries. Right, well done, teams. The latest twists and turns in the Calmac Ferry story is the right answer. Claire and Raymond, you get 2 points for that. Now to you, Ria and Paul, what was the other story we were after?
I think this is referring to the first wave of fines that are being handed out in Westminster for the Partygate fiasco.
It is the news that 20 fines will be issued as part of the police inquiry into Downing Street parties that breached COVID rules. The police will not be saying who is fined or confirming which events the fixed penalty notices relate to. However, Downing Street has said it would say if the Prime Minister is amongst the recipients. The police also say there's still a significant amount of material to be assessed and that more fines could come in the future. When asked why Boris Johnson was not one of the first batch of 20 partygoers to be handed a fine, the Met Police said that they were starting at the back of the conga line and working forward. There's still time for Boris yet. Paul, what do you think about this then? Fines are now being issued. Do we think these fines are just the tip of the iceberg?
I mean, it's a shame we won't get to find out who's getting fined. Perhaps the police could let us, play sort of Tory Guess Who. We could say, is the Tory a person who owns 4 cars but borrows one off a Sainsbury's employee for a photo op? Or does their name rhyme with Schmor Schmunson?
Raymond, what do you think about this then? So we've got the Met Police and they're now saying we've issued 20 fines. Do we think there's more to come? Is this just the tip of the iceberg?
But didn't they say themselves that there is a significant amount of additional material we've got to go through?
Correct.
But this is the thing, I want a job there, by the way. I want a job down there. Where in whose universe do you go into your work and there's a massive carry-out and loads of food? That just sounds like the best job ever, innit? Come on, we're going to work and take a load of size of that carry-out. We must be doing some overtime, boss.
Ria, what do you think about this then? Obviously, we're talking about a situation that is ongoing and fines are now being handed out. Boris is not part of those initial fines. So do you think this is good news for Boris Johnson or is it good news for his opponents?
I think it's good news for Sue Gray because she finally knows what to put in that report. I think that's the truth of it. She's like, I don't know what to write. And then they made a decision. She went, great, I'll copy what you said.
Maybe we're being too harsh on Boris. I mean, did he get everything right on COVID? No. But did he get some things right? No. But...
we're talking about these breaches in the framework of the phrase domestic misdemeanours. Paul, what would you class as a domestic misdemeanour in your house?
Well, in my house, my partner doesn't like when I talk. And she also doesn't like the way I put in milk before the tea bag. Some people think that's a weird way to brush your teeth, but,
Claire, what would you class as a domestic misdemeanour in your house?
In our house, it's the recycling, okay? I'm the only female. I don't want to stereotype here, but I've got 2 boys and a husband, and they do not know how to... You've got your food recycling bin, you've got your recycling bin, which is just, you know, plastics, tins. It's not difficult. Bit of cardboard.
Yeah.
And then they've got everything else that goes in the other bin. They can't do it. So I've had stickers on the bin, the recycling bin. I've had notices on the recycling bin. Still, they get it wrong. So
well done for your sticker system, Claire. Instantly, because of that, you now have a more proactive and cohesive bin policy than Glasgow City Council.
Thank you very much.
So there we have it. Partygate continues. Fines have been issued, and it goes on. Keir Starmer called for Boris Johnson to resign, asking why is he still here. The Prime Minister has responded by stating that he wasn't sure if he was here and that he would need to wait for the report to tell him. Well done, Rhea and Paul. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of the big gates of the week, Ferrygate and Partygate. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, so much of our news is about public opinion, and this week we spoke to weather woman supreme Judith Ralston and columnist Brian Taylor. So, Rhea and Paul, what story do you think Judith is on about here?
Personally, I'm a bit of a creature of habit. I think we'd all like to make ourselves more proactive and becoming better people. I'm not very good at the good habit side of things, but I am outstanding at all my bad habits.
Is this the story about people trying to change their habits and finding it difficult and trying to get more positive routines, things like that?
That's exactly it. Well done, Paul. Yeah, this is new research that reveals that 3/4 of us want to introduce more positive habits into our routines, but old habits are harder to break than you think. From exercising more frequently to spending less time on our phones, we're desperate to introduce positive habits into our daily lives. But while 1/3 of us regularly try to form new habits, 1/4 can only stick to them for a couple of weeks before falling off the wagon. What about you, Rhea? Do you find it difficult to change your habits?
Well, you know what I do actually is, because I share a lot of the same goals. I want to exercise more, I want to spend less time on my phone, walk the 10,000, eat more healthy and the rest of it. And I realized that if I just reframe my bad habits, that actually I would feel a lot better overall. So I struggle to eat more healthily. So what I did is I pick a different color every day of the week, right? So Monday is green, Tuesday is red, Wednesday is yellow. And then I just eat foods from that color group to get like a more balanced diet over the course of the week. So on Monday it's green, so I eat a lot of green vegetables. Tuesday I had steak, because that's red meat. And then on Wednesday is yellow day, and I wash it all down with champagne. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel great about it.
Rhea, this is a diet plan we can all get behind.
I think so.
We are in there. Raymond, what do you think about this? Do you find it difficult to change your habits?
No, because I don't really want to change. Now, if I want to, see, if I get angry enough, I suppose. I think this is the thing, though. People don't realise that they go, if you want to make a change, you've got to be angry at yourself. None of this motivation and being in the right headspace and all this rubbish. You've got to look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh, look at the nick of that, man. Look at the nick of that. And then she downstairs and comfort eat.
Claire, what do you make of this then? What would you recommend to anybody who wants to change?
Well, I think that the best way to success is to keep it realistic and achievable, right? So, cost of living crisis. If we're looking at something like saving household money, rather than me making drastic changes, maybe that's something my husband could do. And he could cut back and I could just carry on as is, and that feels realistic and achievable.
What's he buying, Claire?
Huh?
He must be buying essential stuff.
Well, we're sneak buyers.
What kind of sneak buying are we talking?
So he buys stuff and puts it in the boot of his car and thinks I don't know about it. And I buy stuff and I put it in the wardrobe and actually he doesn't know about it. And then I bring it out like 2 months later and he says, is that new? And I go, oh no, that's like golden oldie.
What's in the boot of his motor?
If you really want to know, the last thing I found in the back of his car, and this was really going some, was a Ralph Lauren dressing gown.
Wow. He's got a bird.
I'm learning so much about myself from this short experience.
It was all about breaking and changing habits. Well done for getting the right answer. Yes, people in Scotland find it easier to stick to new habits longer than other parts of the UK. Yes, whenever we hear England has given up something, Nicola Sturgeon will keep us doing it for at least an extra month. Yes, trying to change your habits is the correct answer. 2 points goes to Ria and Paul. So, Claire and Raymond, what do you think Brian is talking about here?
I know what they'll say. They'll say size doesn't matter. Well, try telling that to a 5-year-old who's reaching out for a chucky chunk. There's the other one you hear from the company. Aye, they say, we're doing this for your benefit. Aye, that's the reason, eh? Nothing to do with raking in the same cash for less.
Chocolate bars keep getting smaller, don't they?
And it is indeed, Raymond, the news that the size of a Cadbury Dairy Milk sharing bar has been reduced by 10%, though is still on sale for the same price. Yes, the company says it has been forced into the move because the cost of producing the bars has surged, but the product remains competitive in terms of value. Yes, the first time I was aware of Cadbury's shrinkflation was at Christmas, when my advent calendar only went up to the 23rd. And this is what they're calling it, shrinkflation. Is it only when it's something we love that's affected that we really care about this?
Aye, I think so. Because, you know, energy is one thing, but if you come after our dairy milk, you know, you're asking for trouble. I mean, I'm from Northern Ireland, where, you know, dairy is quite a touchy subject.
That's the newly renamed Derry London Dairy Milk. You're right, Paul. There's so many layers to this. Ria, what do you think about it? Is it the case, and some people have said, it's only when it's something we love that we care about this?
Okay, first of all, we are talking chocolate bars, so are we sure that they're getting smaller, or is it just that the people eating them are getting bigger?
No, Raymond's right.
What are you pointing at me for? They're definitely getting smaller.
You know, that's what you just said.
Do you remember in the 90s, a Mars bar could feed a family of 5? Do you remember? It's like, why do we fun-size things now?
Have you noticed any other examples of shrinkflation?
Yeah, well, when I'm trying something on in a changing room and it doesn't fit, they have definitely made the clothes smaller.
That happened during lockdown. Definitely.
Absolutely. Every Christmas, you go in January, they've made those clothes smaller again. What's going on?
And what do you think about this then, Ria? Have you noticed any other examples of shrinkflation?
I've noticed that integrity in government seems to be shrinking mightily fast, and we seem to be paying the same, if not more, for it. So,
exactly. And it wasn't really at a high level to begin with.
No, and I'm not even sure how pure it was. We're still going to buy the chocolate. I think for me, I'll be irritated if they start doing it with things like broccoli. You know, if they start making the broccoli smaller but the same price, because I didn't want to buy it in the first place.
Chocolate companies are not the only confectioners making their products smaller. These days, if you open a jar of hundreds and thousands, you just get 10s and 20s. Shrinkflation is the correct answer. 2 points go to Claire and Raymond. You're tuned to Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. So I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. Claire and Raymond, you're up first this time. Who is this?
I want to apologise to the Academy. I want to apologise to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment.
Yeah, that was Will Smith.
That is Will Smith, of course. Will Smith is in the news for not only winning Best Actor, but for a full-on altercation with Oscars host Chris Rock during the ceremony. The star slapped Rock in the face on stage after the comic made a joke about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. The row around this has continued all week, with Smith apologising publicly to Chris Rock, while some have called for his Oscar to be taken back. Now, the Will Smith incident is one of the most shocking Oscar moments ever, although it's less impressive when you realise one of the other contenders was opening the wrong envelope. What do you make of it, Raymond?
Well, I really felt for Chris Rock. I mean, I think it was real. Some people said it was staged, but it definitely, to me, it looked real because Chris Rock's reaction. But what got me was when he later on said he'd never apologised to Chris Rock, but what he did say when he won for King Richard, he was playing Richard Williams, who's the father of the Williams sisters. Art was imitating life because he's a fierce protector of his family. So he's basically saying now, oh, I've done this part in a movie, so that's why I banjoed Chris Rock. So, okay, we're going to start finding bodies under David Tennant's floorboards now. Is that the logical extent of this?
I don't know.
Mr. Tennant, why is there 15 dead bodies under your floorboards? I played Dennis Nielsen, mate. I'm just art imitating life.
It did seem like a bit of a cop-out, that. Rhea, what did you make about this then? Everyone seems to have an opinion on it. What's your take on it?
Well, what a way to find out that Will Smith doesn't do his own stunts, huh? Chris Rock didn't even fall over.
I mean, Denzel Washington apparently said to Will Smith, you know, when you're at your highest point, the devil will come looking for you. And that was similar to me when I, you know, auditioned for the Milky Bar Kid that time. You know, that was my highest point and I blew it. And I mean, it was last year, but, you know...
Is this an occupational hazard for certain confrontational comics?
You know, when you think of the stuff that Ricky Gervais has said...
At least Gervais is actually on the money.
Yeah.
His material's phenomenal. I mean, that last roast he done was all bang on the money.
Yeah, I think, people, from a comics point of view...
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Gervais' stuff maybe was a bit stronger, and I really love Chris Rock, but I am angling for the Oscars gig. I'll start with the Scottish BAFTAs and work my way up. Just don't want to get punched by Hazel Irvine. The Scottish equivalent, isn't it? Rhea,
that would be typical if that happened, huh? We do a historical reenactment, but 2 white guys replace the original black players. Yeah, right.
Paul, what do you think about this then? Is this an occupational hazard for certain confrontational comedians?
Well, I was slapped on stage once, and I mean, I hadn't even done a joke at that point. I just think they were offended by my face. I didn't press charges against the guy or anything. I just, you know, stopped inviting Dad to gigs.
Yeah, well done. 2 points go to Claire and Raymond. That was, of course, Will Smith. Right, Rhea and Paul, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
It was really, really intimidating for me. Now, a lot of people know me as being loud and brass and gob on legs and that kind of thing, and very confident when it comes to probably dating. Now, what a lot of people don't realise, I've never done the whole dating thing.
Is this Kerry Katona?
Yes, it is Kerry Katona, and she is in the news this week as she has insisted there are no hard feelings between her and her ex-husband Brian McFadden, as she confesses she loves his fiancée Danielle Parkinson. During an interview with OK Magazine, the 41-year-old said she can't wait until Brian and Danielle tie the knot later this year. Kerry said she hadn't been this excited since being told mini quiches were 2 for 1 at Iceland. So there we go. Kerry Katona in the news this week, and she says that she is all for her ex's new partner. Should Kerry be praised for her attitude, Paul, towards her ex's new partner?
I think so. I mean, she used the phrase "gob on legs" there. I've actually done that when I've tried to kiss tall girls. I think she should be praised for this because, you know, I don't really get on with my exes or the new boyfriends. I mean, I bumped into my ex with her new boyfriend during lockdown a few times, and it was very awkward, you know. So the three of us decided it'd be for the best if I moved out, and
you have to make that compromise sometimes, Paul. You're all heart. What do you think about this then, Rhea? Do you have a good relationship with any of your exes?
I am no longer with my husband, but I still live with him, so I have to win this competition. I live with my ex. I literally live, and we haven't killed each other yet. And we both are fully aware of all the life insurance policies that we have out on each other. And we still haven't killed each other, so that's got to win this.
Oh, you win this?
Yeah.
By a mile?
Yeah.
Claire, what do you make about this then? Do you have a good relationship with any of your exes?
When I was 20 and I was studying in Cardiff and I had a boyfriend in Edinburgh and I wanted to break it up, okay, I just couldn't bring myself to phone him. So what I thought I'd do is I'd write a nice letter. But when I went to send the letter, I knew the street he lived on, but I couldn't remember the house number. So I knew it was either like 28 or 30. What I thought I'd do is I copied out the letter word for word, right? And I sent both letters, one to number 28 and one to number 30.
What?
And then what happened was he got the breakup letter, okay, and he's just processing the breakup when there's like a ring on the doorbell. And then the neighbour hands in the other letter.
Both of them? Oh, that's harsh. That's the double whammy.
Yeah.
It's like, not only is she breaking up me, she's two-timing me with the guy next door. Claire, that is fantastic. Raymond, we'll come to you lastly on this one. What is your best bit of relationship advice?
Do what you're told.
That'll get you through. Well done, Kerry Katona is the right answer. 2 points goes to Ria and Paul. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
This was not a punch.
That's entertainment reporter Colin Patterson talking about the drinks being served at Downing Street last July. OK, teams, fingers on buzzers. Here we go. Nearly 1 in 5 people say they would struggle without what?
2 toilets in the house.
Fingers back and buzzers. Nearly 1 in 5 people say they would struggle without what? Paul.
COVID as an excuse not to meet people.
Nearly 1 in 5 people say they would struggle without what? Raymond.
That wee card that tells you what colour bin you've got to put out.
It's hard to know sometimes.
Oh, that's murder.
Unless you live with Claire. There's this sticker. Nearly 1 in 5 people say they would struggle without cash. As we move now to a cashless society, some people are going to struggle in that.
This was not a punch.
Oh, there we go. That is the klaxon. Colin has Pattersoned. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Ria Lina and Paul McDaniel. And commiserations to Claire Johnston and Raymond Nairns. And we'll leave you with the breaking the news. Breaking news just in. Businesses wanting to sell bugs as food in the UK are facing confusion thanks to post-Brexit trade law. As the world adapts to more sustainable and environmentally friendly food sources, bugs may have to become a regular part of our diet going into the future. At least that's what my local chippy told the health inspector. The medical TV drama Holby City ended this week after being on air for 23 years. The show has been praised for its realistic depiction of hospital life, particularly now that it's closed down. And more than 1 million Britons say they would start taking buses if they went electric, and a further 9 million would use them more often. One person was asked if they were worried about the electric bus giving them a shock, but said that nothing can shock them anymore as they've been in a megabus to Dundee. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.